is Chloe. Sometimes she'll come in and out of the screen. I'm showing you some exercises today in my backyard, but this one I'm going to show you some different exercises you can do while sitting in a chair. Now, my chair happens to be kind of a bar stool height, and that's okay. It doesn't have to be a high chair like this. I do find that it works a little bit better if it's a little higher chair, because that way you've got a little bit more movement available to you in your legs. But we're just going to do about somewhere between 7 and 10 minutes worth of exercise. We're going to do it mostly sitting down. I might have you stand up for just one or two things, and then we'll go forward from there. So, we're going to start off moving the arms. We're just going to do a little bit of arm movement here, okay? And what we're going to do is a few things for the arms, and then we'll do a few things that are kind of engaging the core, and then we'll do a few things that are getting the legs moving. So you can see I'm doing arm circles. Now, again, depending on your fitness level, this may or may not be difficult for you. And it doesn't matter if you're having a hard time with it or not having a hard time with it. You do what you can do. You're going to hear me say that a lot in these different videos. You do what you can do. If you can do a bigger movement, or you want to alternate in there sometimes with bigger movements, that's great. If you want to do faster movements, that's fine. It's going to fatigue you faster. If you want to do slower movements and just kind of keep them up there, that's fine too. If you have a shoulder problem, you might do it down here. Or if you're just fatiguing, you can drop your arms down low and do it lower as well. That's a fine activity to do because it's just, again, about movement and activating muscles. Now, I don't know if you can see it. I think you can. It's down to my right. I have a water bottle here with me. Water bottles, now I drank a little bit out of it, and I should have left it full. But water bottles are a great way to get a little bit of extra resistance without having to have weight. My water bottle is about 1 liter, and so this weighs probably, when it's full, somewhere around 3 pounds. Not a lot, but you can use it as just a shoulder exercise, okay? And granted, if you have 2 water bottles, you can do both arms at the same time. If you don't, you just do one arm at a time, and that's all right too. But we're just going to bring as you can see, we're just going to bring the bottle straight up in front, let it back down, straight up in front, let it back down. You notice I'm not going higher than my shoulder height, right? We're just coming up to shoulder height, and then letting it back down. Up to shoulder height, and letting it back down. And again, I'm not doing it fast. I'm doing whatever pace feels good for me for right now. And it could be faster if I wanted it to be. I'm just going to get more repetitions in there. I promise you that if you go slow, and you pause, and you go slow back down, you're still going to get a pretty darn good workout out of this. You might get more repetitions if you go faster, but more is not necessarily better. As with so many things, it's quality over quantity. I almost said that backwards. It's quality over quantity. I'm going to switch arms just so I keep myself balanced. Now, in theory, if I'm doing the arms at a different time than one another, I'm switching, alternating, whatever you want to call it, I should count. I didn't count, but I should have counted. So when you're at home and you're doing this exercise, make sure that you're counting so that you keep everything relatively balanced. You want to make sure that if you do 15 repetitions on your right arm, that you should be doing something like 15 repetitions with your left arm. And if you find, which many people will, that one arm can do more than the other, or that by the time you get to 15 with one arm and 15 with the other arm, one of them is a little shakier or having a harder time doing it, that is not uncommon. Most people have a dominant arm, and most of you, in fact, are probably right-handed. I happen to be left-handed. That doesn't mean that my left arm is stronger than my right arm. It does mean that in most cases, right-handed people are very right-handed and tend to do almost everything with their right hand. I've absolutely seen, for example, my son just stand there with his left arm down at his side while he's doing things with his right arm when he could be using them both at the same time. And yes, I give him a hard time about it because that's what I do. All right, we're We're going to switch it back to the other side again. Going out to the side. And again, not higher than 90 degrees. And if you have a shoulder problem, you might stop down here, okay? And you might use a smaller water bottle. Or you might use a gallon water bottle. It really depends on what you've got hanging around the house. I don't want you to do something that's causing you sharp or stabbing pain. The difference between good soreness and pain is soreness is what the muscles will feel when it's a new activity or an increase in resistance, and it's usually going to follow within anywhere between 24 and 72 hours. We call that delayed onset muscle soreness. That's not a bad thing. When people feel that, that's what we expect them to feel if they're new to the activity or it was a significant increase in the activity. If they are getting a pain while doing the exercise, and especially if it feels like a knife is kind of stabbing you in the area, I switched arms, in the area where you're doing the exercise, then you're probably doing something that's a little bit more than what is appropriate for you at the time. And that doesn't mean that you're doing too much resistance. It could be that you're doing too much movement. So if I come up here and right there I start to get that sharp pain, I stop and I come back down. If I can do higher without the resistance and no sharp pain, I want you to do it that way, because that way you're actually working through the full range of motion and you're not causing yourself any pain. All right? But if you can't do it even without resistance, you come out here and you get a sharp pain there no matter what, don't go higher, okay? The other thing you should notice is that, and this is the benefit of holding something in my hand, if I hold something in my hand, I will automatically, just to kind of keep the top of my bottle upright, turn it to where my thumb is kind of facing up toward the ceiling. If I don't, a lot of people tend to do it with the palm down, and what that doesn't do is it doesn't allow the rotation in the shoulder to happen that prevents any kind of pinching that happens on some of those, what we call rotator cuff muscles. All right, last one that we're going to show you here with the water bottle is just a biceps curl. You're just bringing it up to your shoulder, let it back down. We all make a joke about a 12-ounce curl. This is a little bit more than a 12-ounce curl. This is closer to a 32-ounce curl. And again, it's 3 pounds, so if this is not enough resistance for you, that's fine. But we're just trying to get things moving. So if you've just been sitting still for a while today, then this is going to be something that will be better than nothing, and it's still stimulating those biceps muscles. If you're like me and you do a lot of cycling, we don't have big biceps muscles anyway. I like to joke with my friends that I have puny little cyclist arms. And no, I wasn't getting tired. I was just switching up and doing the other side because I tend to talk a lot, which means I don't tend to pay attention to how many repetitions that I'm doing, and I also don't pay as much attention to the time as I should. And I think I'm using up more of your time than I told you I would. So we're going to just do a little bit more here with this arm. And at home, if you want to do longer sets, great. Do more if you want to. If you don't feel like you want to do more sets, that's okay too. I set my water bottle down. I'm going to put my hands up to my shoulders here. And what I'm going to do is bring my elbow to my opposite knee, come back up. Elbow to opposite knee, come back up. Again, I don't want this to be a fast type of a movement because I don't want you to twist and hurt your spine. But we are going to engage and try to tighten up those tummy muscles as we come down. Come back up, bring the elbow down toward the opposite knee, come back up. Actively tighten those stomach muscles. Now, you notice I don't grab my head. And I'm not grabbing my head because I don't want to pull on my neck. I just have my arms up, elbow to the knee, come back up, elbow to the knee, come back up, and we just keep doing this movement. Now, if the twist bothers you at all, if you're a person with low back pain and that movement is a problem, just go straight forward and come back up. And just like with the shoulders, if you go a certain movement and it's causing you a sharp pain, don't push past it, just stop and go back up. Go right to that doorway of discomfort, stop, go back up. Do not push through pain. Pain is your body telling you that you are not quite ready for that movement yet. You can do all three if you want. Boom. Now I got each direction. I go one side, come back up. I go the other side, come back up. I go right in the middle, and I come back up. Got all three directions. Look at that. We're getting quite an ab workout, and you know what I didn't have to do? I didn't have to get on the floor, and that's a nice thing. It's okay to tighten up your stomach muscles without getting down on the floor. In fact, it's kind of preferable for a lot of people. As a physical therapist, I've met lots of folks who cannot get on a floor to do exercise. So you know what I do? I show them how to do exercises sitting in a chair, and I show them how to do exercises standing, because that is what they can do at that time of their life. And if you're lucky, like me, and you don't have those issues, great. I'm lucky. I'm at a good point of my life where nothing bothers me right now. Have I had pain? Sure. Have I been overweight and out of shape? Absolutely. But the point is, I've worked myself to a healthier point. I want to try to keep it that way, and movement is a key to that. All right? We've done enough of that one. Now what I want to do is I want to bring my knee up, but I don't want to just bring it straight up. I want to bring it up and kind of in. Back down, up and kind of in, back down. Why? Because it's engaging my stomach muscles again, and in particular, it's engaging my oblique abdominals. What people don't realize when they do exercise or when they're doing movements, or they don't think about it, is that we don't work in straight planes as people. We tend to work in diagonal types of movements, rotational types of movements. So if we only ever work in straight planes with our exercise, we're not really training ourselves functionally. So we're going to try to give you different things to do that are not always just straight up and down, even though that feels normal, right? And honestly, again, if this is causing you a sharp pain, I would rather that you did this than nothing at all. But I'd like you to try to cross that midline just a smidge. It doesn't have to be a lot. We're not trying to come way over. I don't want to have to rock and roll in my chair. I just want to bring my knee up just a little, cross midline just a little, and then let it back down. Good? Okay? And then we're going to do one more, and this is why I really want you on a higher chair, is this particular exercise. And all you're going to do is stand up. My head went off the screen, and you're going to sit back down. Now, if you know where that chair is, you don't have to reach back to it, but if you don't trust your chair for whatever reason, and please don't do this in a chair with wheels, sit back and put your hands on the seat. Make sure it's not going anywhere. Stand back up, sit back down, reach back, hands on the seat. And what the nice thing is about the reaching back is it makes you kind of lean your body forward and stick your butt back, which makes it a good squat movement. Okay, I know we sometimes talk about squats and people don't always like squats. Squats are what make it possible for us to get out of a chair, to get off of a toilet, to get in and out of a car. Those are the things that are difficult for a lot of people that have knee-related issues and hip-related issues and even low back-related issues. So squats are an important thing to do. And if the way that you start doing it is by doing exercises sitting and standing from a chair, perfectly fine. Work with a height that works for you. A lot of times when I give this exercise as an exercise to people and I'm rehabilitating them, I'll tell them, start by just standing up and just a little bitty knee bend and then come back up. And when you're feeling better about it, use the arm of the couch if you don't have a bar stool and aim for the arm of the couch next, and then aim for the actual seat of the couch or a regular height chair, preferably something firmer to get your body accustomed to it so that you're not hurting your knees in the process. But again, the form is sticking the bottom out every time and then coming back up, right? Sticking the bottom out and then having a seat. And that's going to wrap it up for this session of exercises. I hope you found that helpful, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you try it at home on your own. And please, use your chair. It's okay to exercise while sitting down. Thanks again.